Join us for the very first IFL Live at London's Indigo at the O2, Sunday, August the 13th, with me, Coogan Cassius, and some very special guests, Eddie Hearn, Darren Barker, Johnny Fisher, and more. Tickets now on sale. So in the words of Eddie Hearn,
you get up, you dress up, and you fucking show up.
Welcome to another episode of Talking Smart with Pugh and Mccart. I think there's only, first off, it's the first time I've met you in person.
I know.
You're a lot taller than what I thought you were, mate. So
You're a lot shorter than I thought you were, mate.
there you go then. Good to see you in person. Yeah. I mean, this is our 9th episode now, so
Yes.
Good to do it in person. And I think there's only maybe one thing to talk about. Did you watch it last night?
I did certainly watch it last night, mate. You?
I did, mate, yes. And, the fight itself, I thought Joshua needed that dirty knockout, that sick knockout, and he got it. We'll break down the fight, but what were your thoughts initially?
I thought Eddie got it right after the fight by saying we're never going to get the old AJ when he was fighting the likes of Dillian White, when he was in there, that AJ of about 7-8 years ago. This is the new AJ. This is what we're going to see going forward, calculated in its performance, but ultimately we did get the knockout, and he hasn't knocked anybody out, I think, since Kubrat Pulev.
Mm-hmm. And he needed that, and I think, boxing is a critical sport. Everyone's got an opinion in boxing. That's probably why it's probably one of the better sports in the world, because every single person, from a promoter, fighter to a fan, has got an opinion on it. Now, when you look at Joshua's going to get compared to the Wilder knockout. Wilder done it in one, took Joshua second, but you've got to look at it. You've got to break it down. Helenius rushed Wilder.
Yeah.
He rushed Wilder in that first round. Came on and landed. Came head to head with a right hand. He didn't rush Joshua. He was trying to jab off the back foot, so it was harder for Joshua to find that right hand. And what I liked as well was how it's set up. And I don't know if you noticed at the end of the 6th round when Joshua said to Derek James, he said, "It's hard. I can't find the right hand, or it's difficult to find the right hand." And Derek James went, "Just keep trying." And then, what you talk about? A minute and a half later, he landed it, and the way he set it up was perfect, similar to what I knew he'd done to Fulton.
Yes.
With the jab to the body. Right hand over the top, perfect execution.
Yeah, and we're seeing that from Joshua more now, just going to the body, those perfect setup shots, which realistically we didn't see in his raw days, in his big knockout days. So technically, he is still improving as a fighter. So you've got to kind of limit your expectations. It's not an old school AJ with the O2, go in there expecting a 1, 2, 3 round blowout. It's not. It's calm, calculated, and really, this was a risky fight for him because he didn't need to take this fight when he's got millions of pounds waiting for a huge, huge payday and a huge fight, one of the biggest fights that can be made in the heavyweight division right now, which is that Deontay Wilder fight, which we know and hope is happening in December or January.
Well, going on what Malik Scott said and what Eddie Hearn said during the week and post-fight, they're looking like January. I think they pushed it back. And that may be because, obviously, Wilder hasn't got a fight yet. I think he does want to have one more fight in before he fights Joshua. And we're getting middle of August. By the time the fight gets signed, you're talking maybe October time before he fights, same as Tyson Fury. So they're going to need that break, 2-3 weeks off before they start another 12-10-week camp. But just talk about the Wilder fight. I mean, that gets my juices flowing, for lack of a better word. I mean, that's a 4-round fight, Wilder and Joshua.
Yeah.
That ain't going 12 rounds. That's a 4-round fight. And it's whoever lands first. That is the simplest way I can put it. Joshua lands the right hand, Wilder's out. Wilder lands that right hand, Joshua's out. It's just one of them ones. But can you see any of the fighters being cagey in that fight?
Yes, I can. I will say that. I think that judging on what we've seen in the last kind of 2 to 3 years from AJ, I think he will want to be kind of a little bit edgy, a little bit careful, because at the end of the day, you know, one mistake with Wilder and it's over. It is good night Vienna. So Anthony Joshua will need to be careful, but it's about getting that balance for him. Because if he wants to win that fight, he's got to show his power early, and he's got to earn Deontay's respect. Because Wilder shows no one respect. Wilder waits, and Wilder will land, and Wilder will knock you out. So it's about asserting the authority and dominance in the ring early from AJ. But at the same time, you do it too much, you leave yourself open, and it'll be over before the even second half of the fight will start.
Well, I'm thinking it's a 4-round fight anyway.
Yeah.
I think they both of them need to treat it like a 4-round fight. and just go for it from the
I
first
hope so,
bell.
as a fan.
Well, as a fan, exactly. Well, it's music to our ears. But I was thinking last night when I was watching the fight, Helenius was managed to land his long jab. He's got long arms, like Wilder, not as long, but he was just popping that jab out and landing it, and not actually cut and bust the AJ up a little bit. But the way Wilder approaches the fight is he lands that jab and boom, there's the right hand. Yeah. So AJ's got to watch with that Wilder jab, because behind that jab is that detonating right hand, and that's something that I'm worried about going into this fight. But again, the way AJ is now starting to do some lateral movement, he's starting to sort of jab to the body more and then come over. That's exactly what I knew he'd done to Fulton. He did it to Helenius. Now, that jab into the body, he went to it a couple of times and he was looking for that right hand. He just didn't get his feet right. As soon as he stepped in and came over the top with it, I mean, that was perfect boxing. Now, AJ had 2 fights with Derek James now. I think another camp, maybe I would like to have maybe one more fight, but we're not going to get that. But I think another solid camp with Derek James, they'll come up with that game plan to detonate that right hand, the way he was looking for it in that fight against Helenius, and I think this is going to be an exciting fight, and I think it's a 50-50 fight. I know a lot of people think it's Wilder probably a little bit of the favourite going into this fight, but I just think that AJ's got that bit between his teeth now. You just look at the weigh-in with Helenius when he was like, you got a problem?
Yeah.
You got a problem? And then after he knocked Helenius out, he was doing the Generation X sign.
I know.
That is the spiteful, old-school AJ. Walked out the ring, done a lap of honour. That is the guy we missed, and that's the guy we want.
Yeah, and I think it's important to still remember that AJ's a very emotional guy. For the past, again, probably since the Pulev fight, I remember after that he was in his face and they'd done that very strange thing. Then after even the Franklin fight, he does act off emotions.
You're getting a camera.
Quite a lot.
Look,
Sorry, mate.
Come on, get in the shot.
I'm in.
I mean, this is.
We're very close, aren't we?
The women tune in for you, not me. So
I don't know about that, mate. I don't know about that. I think it's the muscle. I think it's the Scottish muscle in you there, mate.
My Scottish muscle sitting over there at the
desk.
He is. But if anyone knows that's Mr. Ian Rocky over there, I won't give out his last name just in case. Aye, so where were we? The spiteful AJ.
Yeah, again, spiteful, emotional. It's going to be a big ask. It's going to be a big ask, and he's got to get everything right. But why I really like Helenius as an opponent is because he's the same height, he's the same kind of standoffish, rangy, and he did say that in
stand upright.
Yeah, he said that in his post-fight interview with Coogan, I think it was, that Helenius is more rangy than me, and you've got to deal with that. You've got to look at the fundamentals of Wilder. And you say about that jab and he comes straight over the top. The way Wilder finished Helenius, he didn't even extend his punch. It was just close.
But that's the thing. It was like two trains on the same track coming head-on collision. As Helenius came in, Wilder was throwing his right hand, so it was like 2 trains meeting each other head-on. It was just boom, and that's what floored them. With AJ, Helenius was leaning back, and AJ clipped him. So as Helenius was pulling away from the shot, AJ still had enough power in that right hand, right on the chin, to knock him out. So that proves that AJ's probably just got as much power in that right hand when he lands it as Deontay Wilder.
Do you think Anthony Joshua's got to come out like Fury did in the second fight, where he just stuck it on him? Is that his only way of winning?
No, I don't think that's his only way of winning, but that's probably his best bit of winning. Yeah. And the reason I say that is, like I say, Wilder's going to land. He always lands. He landed, apart from the second fight against Fury. I don't think he did, maybe a couple of times, but because Fury was doing well, as in rolling away from the right hand. But definitely in the first fight and the third fight, he landed that right hand. And let's go through his other fights. He's landed that right hand. And especially Fury's got a little bit more of that lateral movement, a little bit more bounce in his step. So I think it is whoever lands first. And I think AJ's got to approach this fight and make it a 4-round fight. Don't try and go the distance with Wilder, because the way these two fight, and the way their styles are, they're upright, rigid, a little bit of lateral movement. One of you's going to get clipped. This ain't going to points. It is whoever lands first. So AJ's got to go in there and put it on a maybe fast start. Look at Helenius last night. He started quite fast with him. Yeah. Johnny Fisher started fast last night against Harry Armstrong. Put on his back, excellent performance. We'll probably touch on that a little bit. Started it, put Harry Armstrong on the back foot straight off the bat. I think that's what you need to do. You need to get Wilder's respect immediately. Yeah. So just go in there. There's my jab. There's my right hand. There's my left hook. Right, what can you do with it? Okay, you're still standing. I'll give you another one. Do you know what I mean? I just think that's the way. I might be wrong. I'd love to see what the comments are on this, but I think that's the way both fighters need to approach this fight. And I like the fact that AJ's spiteful. and is ready to rock and roll. And touching on that, Mike Scott was doing an interview with Matchroom. I don't know if you've seen it.
I haven't yet.
He was
but yeah.
watching the fight as AJ knocked him out. He was like, "Whoa, AJ, January, baby." So he said it. Eddie Hearn said it, and I think Eddie Hearn said as well. I want to get your thoughts on that. That the only sort of people that can not make this fight happen is the Saudis in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, of course. It's no secret that they are paying a lot of money for that fight. It's one of many fights that they want, because at the end of the day, Prince Khalid was there yesterday, obviously watching Derek Chisora. They do love their boxing. Just being out there, when I was out there, it is a passionate place, and they love sport. Even football. We see all these footballers going out there now, and everyone's kind of saying it's a gimmick. They love their football in Saudi Arabia, and they love their sport. AJ knows Saudi. He's fought out there twice, and I think that could play a part, because it's very different. The heat's very different out there, and now he's obviously training in the States. He said it's never been so hot. So hopefully we see it announced officially. We get a few press conferences, and we can really get the ball going. But we'll move on, Andy, because we've actually got to get off to IFL Live very soon.
And when is that?
It's tonight, mate.
I'm in London, baby.
Yes.
First time I've been in London since 2019.
Wow.
I think the last time was Josh Taylor against Regis Prograis. I think that was the last time I've been in London. So you're talking 4 years now.
Yeah.
4 years.
October 2019, I think it was.
October 2019. So what will be in August 2023? Yeah, 4 years.
Yeah.
Coming on 4 years now. So listen, it's because you're down here, Umar's down here, Oscar's down here, Cougar's down here. I've got no chance of doing a London show.
Exactly.
So don't any of you step foot in Scotland. Ain't that right, Ian?
Yeah.
See? Well, you got to deal with that big man there.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be getting a Scottish show anytime soon, mate. But just quickly on the undercard.
Yes.
Derek Chisora, Gerald Washington.
Love that. Listen, happy for Big Del Boy, man. I think that maybe I'd like to see him retire now. Listen, he'll probably tell me to shut the F up and probably want to knock my teeth down
I
my
think
throat.
he's there
for saying-
tonight, so be
Well,
careful.
Listen, this is going out after you see it, Del Boy, anyway. But I'd like to see him retire on that win. I think that's a great win against Gerald Washington at the O2. The fans love you. I just think that now maybe enjoy boxing now on a comfy chair. Do you know what I mean? At ringside. Maybe if you've got the time, bring a couple of fighters on. Do you know what I mean? You've got wealth of experience. You fought the best, Cooper Pugh. You fought Tyson Fury. You fought Dillian White. You fought them all. So just take a seat. Take a seat and relax. Thank you so much for all the years, Del Boy, all the exciting fights, the press conferences with Dillian White, the press conferences with David Hay, even the press conference this past week. I mean, you've been one of the craziest but funniest, and thank you for what you've done for British boxing. And I would like to see you retire. If you don't, I'm more than happy to see you fight again, so don't take it out on me. Joe?
Yeah, look, I absolutely love Derek Chisora. I'd not shy away from the fact that I'm a massive Chisora fan. I know he's a little bit Marmite. You either love him or hate him. It weren't a great fight last night. It weren't something that I'll be rewatching. But
I loved it, Del.
yeah, sorry, don't kill me, Del. But I think with Chisora now, it's not about the fight. It's about the whole experience of the Derek Chisora press conference, the ring walk, because the O2 has been his home over the years. You mentioned last time you was here, he fought David Price. He was meant to be fighting Parker, but then Price. Since that fight, he's fought Usyk, he's fought Fury again, he's fought... who did he fight? Parker twice.
Parker twice, Dillian White twice, Cooper Pulev.
Mad.
He beat Pulev, didn't he?
Yeah, he beat Pulev last year in this very same venue. So he's just a great servant. If he carries on, I'm more than happy to sing old Derek Chisora a couple more times. But he deserves a retirement. And he went out on a win last night in his home crowd. And it's just up to Del. You never know what's going to happen with Del.
Thinking about it, if them two big, huge heavyweight fights happen in Saudi Arabia with Usyk and Fury and Joshua and Wilder, you know Del Boy's going to be on the card, right?
I'm surprised he's not fighting Ngannou on that card, to be honest.
Who knows? Boxing's nuts now. But Del Boy, we love you. Hergovich and Dempsey McKean. What was your thoughts on that one?
I thought it was a close fight going into it. Really hard to split them apart. I think Hergovich handled it, but it wasn't the statement performance you would like to make Alexander Usyk think, oh, wow,
yeah.
I've got to fight then one of those guys next. Eddie said it after, you need a bit of a statement. You've got to step up if you want to beat someone like Alexander Usyk, but will you step up at levels when you're fighting the next level of opponent? We will find out. But it looks like Filip Hrgović will be the IBF mandatory challenger for Alexander Usyk. Maybe Daniel Dubois. Could be Daniel Dubois.
Maybe.
It could pull a massive upset. But hopefully Daniel goes out to Poland and does it. But again, I'm not sure I want to see that fight next because I don't
think we will. I think we will see Usyk and Fury. I mean, I think that's what we need. I think both fighters now know that this is... If you look at the lighterweights, we've spoken about this on numerous podcasts. If you look at the lighterweights, they're showing the heavyweight division how to do it.
They've got to follow suit.
Tank Davis, Ryan Garcia, Spence and Crawford. Do you know what I mean? Even just Charlo and Canelo coming up.
Yeah.
These lighter weights are showing the heavyweight division how to get it done and just fight each other because it gets us talking. You're getting paid. I mean, this 64... Like, see if somebody offered me 30 million on a 60-30 split or 50-50 and I get 45. I'm like, let's just fight. I can get my money at the back end of this if I beat you. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes it's more about the glory than it is for the winnings. When you've already got that much money in the bank, surely it's just about the glory now and being the king of the heavyweight division. Because there's always an argument. Who is it? Usyk or Fury? Do you know what I mean? But again, Hrgović, I think, against the southpaw, tall southpaw, it's probably one of them ones when you've got your eye on the heavyweight championship and you're fighting Dempsey McKean, who's probably relatively unknown on these shores, and maybe a lot of fight fans didn't know him. Could Hrgović have got up from like Joshua and Franklin? You know, it's one of them sort of fights. But I think Dempsey's done well. I think he can come again. I think he's definitely in the heavyweight mix, especially if he can drop down a level to the British guys we've got here, the Fabio Wardleys, the Adelaides.
A great fight.
Do you know
and
what
he
I mean?
trains over here with Tony
Sims. So that's quite good. But then there was the other. You say the word a lot.
I actually don't.
The famous word. Just say it. I mean, people know who we're talking about. Bosh. Big Johnny Fisher. You know what? I was happy for Big Johnny because he's got so much pressure on his back with the following that he has, the limited amateur experience that he's got. He's got to perform in front of thousands of people every time because he sells that many tickets. He's got a whole... I would say, like, not just a whole town in Romford, but he's got a whole country behind him now where the pressure that you should be feeling when you get to that European level, maybe even world level, he's feeling it at Southern Area level. So, you know what, I'm so happy for him to get the big knockout against Harry Armstrong because Harry's proved himself that the last fight against Jamie TKV, and Jamie's a good heavyweight,
really good
very good heavyweight.
I think that's a statement from Fisher,
I think it is as well, and I think that's an absolutely fantastic performance from Johnny Fisher, and I don't think he's quite there yet for the British title. Them guys, the Wadleys, the Clarks, Adelaides, Solomon Dakers, I think maybe a couple more of them, because you're still on your trade, and then step up to that level.
He's only 24. It's no secret that I love Johnny Fisher. I'm from Hornchurch, which is literally a 3-minute drive from Romford. I know the family, and they all just want the best for Johnny. Everyone loves him. He's such a likeable guy. He's very modest, and he's still improving, like fight on fight. It's so easy to see. Basically, I think it was his second or third fight at the Ali Pali where he got the cut above his eye. Everyone like question mark. Is it a gimmick? Is it a gimmick? He proved last night it's not a gimmick. He proved last night that he's actually a prospect. He isn't a ticket seller. He's a young heavyweight with big ambitions, and with Mark Tibbs, I think, I don't know, it's impossible to put a ceiling on his career at the minute because where he's young, he's fresh, he's raw. But you look at Fabio Wardley. What's Fabio Wardley? I think like 30 years old.
30 years old, he's had the white collar background and he's had the tougher fights so far at heavyweight.
Exactly.
Yeah, so, I think they're in the same bracket, but just Wardley's just probably had maybe a little bit more tougher fights than Johnny just now.
I think 2-3 years away even. You can take your time. 27, go into a British title fight. Yeah. But Johnny Fisher proved last night that he is a heavyweight to be talking about, and he will be talking to us tonight in about 3 or 4 hours. We've got to head over to the venue.
I've got to get showered, shaved, dressed, ironed up. Yeah, I've done that already in the train. I slunk the train out, Joe. I did 5 hours in the train and then two of the London Underground tubes to get here, and I managed to get here. But listen, I'm looking forward to tonight. IFL Live. If you've got a ticket, I'll see you there. If you don't, see you in the next one, because I'm sure this is the first of many.
Yeah.
We've not had a guest yet. You want to get a guest on? Listen,
Ian's no.
Ian's saying no. Listen, he's just a bigger version of me, bald and grey.
is.
Do you know what I mean? Just a bigger version of me. Joe, let's smash it.
Let's smash it tonight, IFL Live. Bash.
Join us for the very first IFL Live at London's Indigo at the O2, Sunday, August the 13th, with me, Cook and Cassius, and some very special guests. Eddie Hearn, Darren Barker, Johnny Fisher, and more. Tickets now on sale. So in the words of Eddie Hearn,
You get up, you dress up, and you fucking show up.